What's up, guys? All right, so I was trying to help my buddy get better, get him some practice in. So we did a 15-minute sprint at Monza the other day, and it actually turned out pretty damn good. Um, so I was in the Audi, and my buddy ended up driving the Audi, um, and he ended up qualifying first. So this is him up here. Uh, but he doesn't have a high enough safety rating or anything like that. So we're on a pretty low safety rated server, and anytime you race online, safety rating matters. People who take it more seriously tend to only race on higher safety rated servers, because the lower you go in safety rating, the crazier it gets. It's kind of hard to maintain or have a good race, because people will tend to like slam into you and just all kinds of craziness. People will try to win in turn one, which you'll kind of see here. Actually, if we go to this view, you'll kind of see that in this turn one. They so the Nissan that you see at the very end there will he ends up trying to go 3 wide, and ends up taking a hit for it. So we just got the green flag. Everyone's going, and you can see the Nissan is going to get stuck in the middle here. So see, he's 3 wide, and he just bumps into him, gets pinched between those 2 cars, and now you'll see, like, that guy gets bumped. These guys are bumping each other. These guys are bumping each other. That's just how it is on lower safety rated servers. It's I don't know, turn one's always the way I describe it is you have to survive turn one. If you can survive turn one, you're good most of the time. You see, they were just running each other off the track back there. That Lambo took a shortcut. Now this guy in front of me, I noticed he's slow out of the exits, which he did end up kind of slamming into the wall right before this. Yeah, see, he slams into the wall, which I noticed he was slow out of him before, so I'm going to take the inside on this guy. He does a good job holding his line, which is something you will see people not do in this race, including the one I just passed. He does not hold his line on this following lap, pushes me outside. The car in front of me, he ends up not holding his line at one point. But I mean, it wasn't a competitive race or anything, and so there was no reason to like get mad at these guys. They're just learning, like my buddy is. So when this guy closes, like I go to take the inside on this guy, not this lap, but the following lap. He just doesn't hold his line, so I try to straighten him back out in the next lap. But you can see, like, he starts not holding his line here. He's pushing me to that like very outside of the track. I'm almost in the grass right here. And then my buddy, who's in the black Audi in front of me, I don't know what he was doing. This is gas pedal or something. And this guy doesn't hold his line, pushes me out. So I was in 4th. I'm in 5th now, and I have to get this back. Yeah, I was going to push here, but I knew he was on the inside, so I give it to him, and I'm gonna beat him on the exit of the turn. Go wide. I give him plenty of space. I try to give these guys tons of space, mostly so I don't get jacked up. Get right up on this guy. Gonna try to beat him, not in this chicane. Oh, there goes my buddy. He lost it right there. So what happens in that chicane is if you get stuck on those chicanes, it'll kind of spin you out. So he's defending. He takes the outside. I'm gonna brake before he does, and I'm gonna try to beat him on the exit, but he comes into me. Straighten the guy back out. Like I said, there's no reason to get mad at him. He's learning. I didn't even check to see how much damage I had from all of the contact, but he pushes me wide right here. So he we both end up going off right there, and then he pushes me wide again. He tries to dive in on the inside in this next turn. So I go wide because he's on the inside, and then I get in front right here, and he cuts back to the inside and pushes me wide. So we were kind of fighting for second place there. Now I have some open room, and I'm just gonna push this car, try to catch first. It's only a 15-minute race, and each lap at Monza is roughly like 2 minutes. If you're fast, you might run like low 50s, like 150s, maybe like 147. If you're really fast, 146. I think the fastest I've done is like a 147.8, so the higher end of 147. But with damage on my car and everything, I think in this race I only run like 150s, which is still faster than anybody else. But the biggest thing is consistency, and both me and the first place guy are pretty consistent throughout this race. Especially him. He runs like 153s the whole race, like start to finish, which he got lucky and didn't get into any of the traffic. But yeah, he does a great job. And I think at the end of the race, he was more excited about the race than I was. But he did a great job. Just focusing on getting good exits, maintaining speed throughout the turns, and hitting my braking points at the right time. So we've closed a 10.5, 11-second gap down to 9.8 seconds. And I think at the end of this lap, it's going to be a little less than 8.5. So we're closing in on this guy pretty quick. did a 150.8. I think this lap I'm gonna be a little bit off that, but then I come back and do the low 150s. Just trying to catch this guy. Trying to stay consistent. Focus on the exits. I go a little wide here, but I still maintain a good speed through there. Monza is a pretty difficult track. You have to really be on point in your exits and your braking points, getting back on power, stuff like that. So we can see him here. We dropped the time down to a gap of like 7 seconds. Really, like, there was a couple crashes in the race. Like, we're about to lose 10th. He leaves. Someone else crashes and kind of stays in the pits the whole time. I wasn't paying attention to any of that. I was solely focused on catching first. I really wanted to catch the guy. I didn't know if I'd beat him, but I just wanted to catch him. Now down to less than 5.5 seconds. So everyone that plays kind of pays attention to the person behind them and in front of them. So you can put pressure on people without actually being like right on their bumper. So first place is definitely watching me close this gap. And he starts... He's staying pretty consistent, but he's starting to make mistakes, which is making it easier for me to catch him. And in this last lap coming up, I really closed the distance in this last lap. I think I go down to like 4 seconds behind the guy. So we're right at like, he's right at like a turn ahead of me. maybe a little bit less. So he sees me in his rear view, and it turns out really well. It gives me a good run on him with the mistake he makes. But he was a great sport about it. The race turned out really well. Even if I wouldn't have beat him, he was a good sport, and he ran a good race. Like I said, he was super consistent throughout the whole thing. Locked it up a little bit there. I was slow out of this. Yeah, so he's just right at like a turn ahead of me. He sees me in his rear view on the straight. Yeah, he's going to make a mistake on this chicane. So you see, he gets stuck on the chicane, kind of gets swirly. He saves it, does a great job, but it gives me enough to make a run on him, and I close the gap. He takes the inside, defending the inside. I brake before he does. I know he's gonna go wide, and I just take the inside and just barely edge him out. Like if we go back, I just barely edge this guy out. He gets stuck on the chicanes. This is his view. He does a great job in saving it, man. Excellent job. Gives me a run on him. He breaks late, takes the inside. I know he's gonna go wide. And barely, I just barely got him. He does a great job maintaining his line. It was a great race. Guy did a great job. He was super excited after the race. Me and him talked for a bit. He really enjoyed the race. But yeah, turned out pretty well overall.